Yeah, welcome to the Making of Me podcast, where we explore the experience that shape who we have become. Today, I'm joined by Darlene Greene. Darlene, it's really a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you, Ara. It's really lovely to be here with you today.
Yeah, thank you. So, Darlene, what was it like growing up for you?
Growing up for me was really wonderful. I had a great childhood. I was in a lot of sports. I did gymnastics and swimming very competitively and very successfully. And in high school, I did many different sports successfully as well there. Great high school experience. I went to college at University of Virginia. I was a military brat. So my dad was in the Air Force. So we moved around a lot. So when people would say, where is home for you in the United States? I would say, well, I was born in England and then I moved to here and then there. And every few years we moved away. So it was a lot of moving, but I have wonderful parents, a wonderful sister, and I've had a really blessed childhood, actually.
Yeah, amazing. So, what were some of the challenges that actually shaped you into who you are today?
So the challenge didn't start till later. I think actually, if there's a problem having a wonderful parent set, my dad was a man of integrity and honor and character. So it never dawned on me. I was very naive with men and I married very badly initially. I didn't trust my gut. I didn't trust my instincts. And I learned the hard way that, that animal brain is actually smarter than my prefrontal cortex. So my challenges initially began with my husband, number one, who was both emotionally and physically abusive, and I got out of that. And then husband number two was a Navy SEAL, also problematic in very different ways, narcissistic personality disorder and obsessive compulsive personality disorder, and also very, very problematic. So really tough marriages that caused so much stress in my life that I suffered then with illnesses and various autoimmune system issues. And so then my health became a challenge. I did 20 years in the Navy. I had 3 commanding officer tours. Being a woman in the Navy, in any Navy, but in the United States Navy, was challenging. There were peers and seniors that didn't think women should even be in the military. So I worked hard to overcome that. I felt like every place I had started at -10 and work my way to 0 and work my way up to be the top number 1. And I had to do that at every location because I was a woman. But it shaped me in a way that made me very resilient, very gritty, strong in my conviction. I mean, I told my daughters, I have 2 wonderful daughters and 2 bonus boys from marriage to my third husband who had his own health challenges we could talk about later, which caused me to get into even more health journey. But my daughters, I would say to them, look, this is just work. You can do work. You can work hard. There's not, it's sort of a mentality, we work together as teams. Leadership is in your DNA in the military. So I think I encountered a lot of obstacles, but learned to climb over them, under them, around them, and really just do whatever it took to get the job done.
Amazing. So, becoming a caregiver while managing your own health is a different kind of battle. How did that season change you into the person you are today?
Well, my hat's off to all caregivers in the world. I can speak for myself. In all my life, I had no idea how hard care providers had it until I became one. When my husband was diagnosed with early Alzheimer's, my third husband, the most wonderful, I finally got it right.
Yeah.
First, number 1 and 2 were really, really rough. Number 3 was just a gem, an angel on earth. And we had a very blissful relationship. It was peaceful. It was lovely. It was wonderful. It was joyful. It was perfect. It was the best marriage of any marriage I know to this day. And so when he was diagnosed with early Alzheimer's at the age of 64 years old, we were floored, and then began the journey. And initially, as I mentioned, I researched, I dove deep. I looked at all the different possibilities of what could I do to help him. And that for someone with Alzheimer's, you kind of own that journey. It's not like they can contribute to figuring out what to do. So we tried everything from mold detox. A lot of people don't know that when you have Alzheimer's, it may not be Alzheimer's. They don't know that it's Alzheimer's. This testing is really iffy unless they've done an autopsy. So a lot of times mold can look like Alzheimer's. And in fact, Jim had mold. So we did a mold detox. He had a lot of issues, but we did hyperbaric chamber. We did ozone therapy. We did pulse electromagnetic frequency mat. We did microcurrent. We did osteopath manipulations. Of course, we did super clean diet, no alcohol, no soda, no seed oils, no sugar, no white flour, only grass-fed, grass-finished beef. I mean, we really cleaned up the act. We followed Dr. Bredeson's protocol. We tracked his insulin. We did daily exercise for the brain and body. We did hydrogen water. And then we went out of country 4 times for mesenchymal stem cells. So when I say care providing is hard, I mean, this was just his supplements and all the it's hard. And I was working full time. So you're working full time, you're caring for them, and then you still watch them decline and they decline. And you're like, what am I going to do? So the care providing piece of this was not just exhausting, but you're also going through your own grief. You're losing the love of your life. You're losing your best friend. And you have to deal with that, but you can't really deal with it in front of them. You don't want to cry. They don't understand. You're like parenting. Your role shifts. Now you're a parent and you own their program. And so which I had learned a long time ago was figuring out how to do self-care while taking care of someone else. Like, how do I still make sure I get my workout? How do I get my meditation in? How do I socialize occasionally? How do I keep myself above water while I'm taking care of him? And that is a challenge I think every care provider faces. And it is a critical one because I'm not sure if you know this, Aro, but 50% of the time, care providers die first, more than 50% in some cases. And when I had a doctor tell me that, I thought they're talking about older people. They're not talking about me.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but you know what? The fourth doctor that told me that, I said, okay, they are talking to me because it did take a toll. And ultimately, there's a recovery, like he passed away in March. And I will tell you that it was, as much as I thought I was prepared for it, I was not. My body went through the ringer. And then I had a recovery, a healing journey, a serious healing journey of my own to go through on the other side of that for grief and for health. My adrenal glands were shot, my hormones were out of whack, all sorts of things were a problem that I then had to work with specialists to work through. And to be fair, when I put Jim on hospice, that clean diet I told you about, no sugar, no white flour, well, we'd done 4 years of that, right? So when I put Jim on hospice, I wasn't doing drugs, I wasn't drinking alcohol. But let me tell you what I did do. I dove into sugar. Like it was man's best friend. And I ate my way into oblivion because it was comfort. And that was really bad for me too. So I had to kind of get out of that habit and restart again back into a healthy program. So it was not an easy journey, and it was a long one.
Yeah, amazing. I'm just wow, so sorry. You had to go through all of that. It's really a whole lot. Just picturing it, I was like, wow, you must have actually gone through a whole lot. So you often talk about healing at the foundational level. What does that mean in simple everyday terms?
Yeah. Well, one of the things I mentioned, all the things that we did that didn't work. There was something that we finally found that did work, that didn't save his life, but it really improved the quality of both of our lives. And that was healing at a cellular foundational cell level. So in your country, we can say stem cells are activated. In my country, we need to say master foundational cells because of the FDA. But essentially, what happened is I discovered a light therapy modality of technology that allowed your body to elevate and activate your dormant cells, those foundational cells that made you when you were born. And they go to the place of highest priority and they begin working on the thing that is needed the most. And so when I first discovered this technology, I was incredibly skeptical. I was also desperate. So I didn't even look at all the research, but there is actually an enormous amount of research. And I discovered that these elevate a peptide in our body, probably the most powerful peptide in our body, called copper peptide, or GHKCU. And when you look at if you go to PubMed, there are 50 years of studies published on how wonderful copper peptide is. Imagine a technology that gets your body to create more of it. That causes that copper peptide elevation increases stem cells. It resets genes over 4,000 to a younger and healthier state. It produces growth factors. It improves the brain and nerves. It improves heart health. It increases healing and tissue repair. It has all sorts of benefits for lungs and skin and lengthens telomeres. So when I started to put these patches on Jim, they're a tiny little non-transdermal patch. You can see it right there, size of a quarter for those that are listening. And it can be on your outside of your clothing. It can be in your pocket. It doesn't even have to be on the skin. And it is magic. I mean, my husband in the very first week went from not talking, not engaging in conversation, no longer really his personality. His personality was to be funny and flirty and well, if he was talking, he was trying to be funny. And so what happened was at the time he was taking our naps, he was not really trying to engage anymore. And we began patching him. And in that first week, he didn't take any naps. He began to engage, and he didn't get the right words still. He still had aphasia. But he was engaging, and maybe it was just that he had the energy to be able to engage more, but he slept better. We just had extraordinary results. I mean, I'm not even allowed to say all of them because they would be making medical claims, but he couldn't whistle or drum before. He could afterwards. He regained his sense of smell, which he'd lost 20 years before. In 5 months of patching, his hair grew back. It grew darker. It grew in a bald spot. It was just extraordinary. And for me, when we found the patches, I had mentioned I had my own health challenges. Well, I'd been diagnosed with 5 autoimmune disorders. I'm going to sneeze. I had migraines, and I had, at the time that I found these, I'd broken my foot. There we go. I'd broken my foot. I'd sprained my ankle. I had really a autoimmune disorder that caused me to pass out and just faint. And I got sick a lot. I stayed sick. So I had a lot of things going on. And I will just share with you, I was no longer in any discomfort. My ankle felt great. I used to have migraine medicine in every room of the house and every person in every car. I don't even know where it is now. I don't care. I no longer faint. I no longer pass out. I don't have to be on any medication. I used to have to be on a medication to raise my blood pressure to keep me from passing out. And I don't have to be on any of that anymore. This tiny little, it's just light. It's just like when you go out in the sun and your body makes vitamin D through the light signal. This is what's happening essentially in this light therapy. It is basically your body reflecting your own light. I don't have to be on the sun. It doesn't have to be visible to the sun. It's just I glow, you glow. We all have light inside of us, and this reflects that light back into us at a very specific wavelength that causes a biochemical response. And it is just the most remarkable thing. And I will tell you, part of why I do podcasts with people is I didn't know about it. I did a lot of research, Arrow, and I wanted to find something that would help. And while I did find something that ultimately helped him and gave us a quality of life that we wouldn't have had, that we had for another year and a half, I was so mad that it was not better known. Like, where had this been? Why didn't I know about it? Why didn't I find it when I researched? How come people haven't heard about it? Why isn't this in the front page of Time magazine? Like, where? Well, and I think I know why now that I've seen, story after story and testimonial, and I've watched friends and family, and, I've helped probably over 800 people now with issues. I have been able to see people, they don't stay on their pharmaceutical medications. I'm no longer on a thyroid medicine. I was on a thyroid medicine since 1990. I'm no longer on any thyroid medicines. I'm not having to take hormones. I am not having to take a headache medicine or blood pressure medicine or any kind of medicines at all. And I'm really grateful for that. But when you watch that happen across the world, you kind of think, oh, okay, maybe I do know why this isn't better known.
Yeah.
There's a little bit, we're kind of gagged around what we can actually say or not say. We can't make medical claims as a general wellness product. It is so easy because there's no drug going into the skin. There's nothing going into your skin. So Olympians use the patch. Tom Brady, the Kansas City Chiefs, a lot of NFL football players, a lot of stars. I'm actually seeing it on TV shows now with people wearing patches. And so it's getting to be better known, but I just decided there's somebody out there that needs this right now, like I needed it. I needed it earlier than I got. I mean, one of the problems with Alzheimer's is really that by the time the symptoms start, you've had it for 20 years. And
Mhm.
so really people midlife who have, my husband had the APOE44 gene, which is the gene from both parents, that mean that he has twice the likelihood, actually more than that, of getting Alzheimer's. Um, we need to start our prevention earlier. And by activating, when you're 30, half of your stem cells are dormant. When you're 60, they're almost all dormant. So they're not going to work for you and they're not repairing, but we can activate them. It's a really amazing technology, and it's in 80 countries, and no prescription is required, and it just gets mailed in a little envelope to your door. So it's a really phenomenal thing, and it became a passion project for me. It became a way for me to stop feeling sorry for myself, and woe is me, and helping other people so that they could, at one, I got back so much from that, to be able to help other people and have them text me and say, I feel so good. It's so nice to be out of pain. Or I just love this and thank you so much. You've changed my life. That made me feel really good to be able to do that. And so it's been the silver lining of a very, very hard journey of losing my husband. And in some ways, it's left me with a community of people that I care about and who care about me. And so he
Mhm.
left me with this really nice warm hug of friendship and love surrounding me.
Wow, amazing, amazing. And I think it's really the fact that despite what he actually suffered from that, and you're able to find this healing system that made things easier. And now being that, yeah, it was not widespread, it now become a purpose that's now firing you on or to share it as much as possible. That was really amazing and
Thank you.
yeah, very interesting. So looking back now, how has service both in uniform and out of it shaped your purpose today?
I am very, very proud to have served in our armed forces. I think you grow up and you learn an attitude of service. You learn leadership. It's almost like it's built into you. It becomes a part of your DNA, leadership and caring for others first. But it also gave me a sense of confidence and self-respect and I know that I can do whatever I put my mind to. I know that. I mean, I changed jobs frequently in the military. I was successful actually in the military. I ended my career and went on to do things in the technology space. And in an area that I knew really, I didn't have a strong technology background, but I was a leader. And I was like, well, I can do this. And I did do this very successfully. And then I became a dean of a boarding school and I was a vice president at and I was a director of client services for a technology and network company. So it's sort of like it gave me this, it's just work. I will figure it out. I will get it done.
Yeah.
I can, as long as I take care of my team and help them, then and my customers, if I have customers, depending on the job, usually you do, then it'll all come back to me. So my in uniform service really shaped my out of uniform service and just kind of continued just very different fields of work. And yeah.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. Thank you. So for my audience who actually want to reach out to you, who want to make more inquiring about the healing system, and those who actually want to connect with you, how can they reach out and where is the best platform?
Yeah, just go to my website, which is iamreverseaging.com. So iamreverseaging.com. And in there you'll see a picture of me, you'll see a way to connect with me. There's videos, there's podcasts, there's science, there's studies. There's over 120 clinical studies for this science. There's a patent that it does what we say it does. There's how to wear it. There's a place to order it. I would love to do a free consultation. I mean, I don't want to take someone's money. I want to help them heal. So I love helping people with this. And this is not my main job. This is my passion project or my side gig because I just love helping people. It's as good for me as it is for anybody else. So people can reach out to me there and tell me where they heard me, and I will be delighted to get on a call. There's even a Calendly link where someone can get on my calendar there as well. So all for free.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. Thank you, Adade, for all you do. Thank you for sharing your journey and your hearts with us today. And to everyone listening, hope these conversations encourage you to look at your own stories differently. This has been the Making of Me podcast, and it's really a pleasure and an honor having you on the show, Daddy.
Thank you. Thanks for having me today.